let's make some marks. I have book pages, craft paper, and copy paper, along with some ink, acrylic paint, markers and pens, some tools that I've collected, their lids, and stuff. Stencil or two, a spray bottle of water, and some paintbrushes. Okay, so we're going to start with book pages and India ink. And this first one is the inside of a tape dispenser, and you can see it's just a quick and easy process. Dip it in the ink, stamp it on the page done. And I'm doing it with a couple different quote-unquote tools or stamps. This one is a prescription bottle, peanut butter lid. You get the idea, right? Okay, so now I'm going to use acrylic ink. And it looks like it reacted to this book paper slightly differently, but I still like the effect. And I liked having options of colors. I've got a ton of acrylic inks. And you can see I'm going back in with a small little, some kind of spool that I made the small circles with. And then I decided why not have two colors. So I used the India ink with the acrylic ink. And now we're going to use the spray bottle of water. So I'm using a lid with India ink, and I'm just spraying it. And it got oversaturated, so I went ahead and dried it off, if you will, with another piece. And then look at that. I loved how that one turned out. So that's the fun thing about doing this process. Because there's no rhyme or rhythm or rules or anything, sometimes you get these fun little happy accidents, kind of like Bob Ross's Happy Little Trees. So it's a lot of fun. And then I thought, how about some stripes? And they were cool. I don't know that I need a whole lot of stripes, so I went ahead and did some broken lines, and those were cool. Circles are kind of my go-to mark. And the fun thing about this exercise is you'll find your go-to mark. I went ahead and did a little bit of abstract-y type things, which I love using those in journals. And now I'm going to use acrylic paint. And you can see this is fluid acrylic, and I have a medium-priced fluid acrylic, and then I have a really inexpensive one. So it doesn't matter what you use because this is play. You don't have to feel like you have to spend a lot of money, or you can spend a lot of money. It really doesn't matter. And that was a skewer, by the way, that I used to scratch into the wet paint. And so you can see the text underneath. And then you see if you just change up the size of your brush, you get, of course, different size marks. I tend to like the smaller ones better than the big ones. So here is some Kraft paint. And I grabbed this really light cream color and just did some little dabs. And don't ask me why I went back and forth on this, but I went ahead and grabbed a Posca pen and did little hash marks, almost like when you would use to do shading if you were drawing. And then I thought I would do some other marks, so nope, see, this is where it got a little wonky. I don't know why. I decided to go back to paint. And one of my favorite things is white paint on craft paper. Not sure why, but I love the mark that this brush made. If you can see it up close, you can see like the bristle marks in the bottom there. So I also tried some X's, some pluses, some scaly type marks, which I do like. And then in a minute, I'm going to do some more botanical type. I don't know. I was just playing with marks. I tend to do a lot of circles and like just little hashes. So I thought I would try some different ones to show you that sometimes you just got to play and see what comes up and what comes out. It's low stakes, right? None of this is finished art. This is just background play. So here I'm grabbing a Posca pen and I'm doing just dots. And I had something in mind with the paint and the dots, but it didn't work out, so Yeah. Which is, you know, again, it's okay because this is just a play session. But I did a thicker Posca pen with a thinner Posca pen, and I have these little marks around it, little circles and like hash marks around it, and that was kind of fun. And if you don't have book paper, or you don't like to tear up books like I do, then copy paper works really well. And this is just inexpensive copy paper. There's nothing special about it at all. I used a little bit of water in the India ink, so it was really flowy, you know, because India ink is flowy. I don't know why it needed any help. But I love how it dried and how the crinkly sound of the paper when it was dry. After I had, this one in particular, like I had saturated it with water. Nope, sorry, that was the next one. So I did a bunch of circles, and then I come in with the water on this one. And I just love the way it sounded when it dried, the crinkleness. And if you remember from a little bit ago, I think maybe on TikTok, or maybe I did another video here, it doesn't matter. I had some pages left over that weren't fully formed. They're kind of plain, so I went ahead and jazzed them up just a tiny bit with some marks. And again, these are still not pages that are considered finished art. They're just pieces to go into an art journal as background or part of a layout. Maybe they could be a starter page, or maybe I'll use them as a page when I make my own art journal. This one ended up being one of my favorites. I went ahead and did two colors, and the blue and the brown look really good together. And this is a dictionary page, and it's funny because I've done this before, and every time you get a completely different version, and you'll see here at the end what I'm talking about. So these are the finished pages. They've dried, and you can see all the different circles or splotches, lines and dots, abstract-y type pieces, a little more squared shapes. And you can do these sessions over and over again and come up with completely different things and have all sorts of art journal fodder, or maybe you come up with an idea for a piece or for a background piece. But here, coming up is what I'm talking about. So this one, and look at the one I did the week before. Look at how different it is. It's the exact same process. I don't know what I did different, but I like the other one better.